create a disconnect in the mind of your listeners. Now, when I say create a disconnect, I mean give them a reason to care. Now, if you're talking to an audience, you have to first get their permission to welcome you in. And how do you do this? You do it by asking intriguing and provocative questions that sparks their curiosity and leaves them seeking for answers. Right? I'll give an instance. I was once in a teaching meeting, right? And the teacher, the speaker, was trying to convince us that in Genesis there was no tree and that there was no apple or fruit. This was very difficult for me to accept because all my life I've always believed that there was a tree in the Garden of Eden. Eve ate of the tree, she gave to Adam, Adam ate, and he fell. But he was able to convince me and give me a different worldview that there was no tree or fruit in that garden. And how did he do this? He started out by asking some very intriguing and provocative questions. He asked, if I ask you to show me your family tree, do you show me a physical tree or you start explaining your family genealogy? Whoa. That created a disconnect in my mind. He also asked, he said, if you see a dear friend of yours being lied to by somebody, then later you call your friend aside and you tell him you were just swallowing everything that guy was saying. Don't you know he was lying? When you say that to your friend, do you mean he was swallowing anything physically? Of course, no. You just was trying to tell him that he was swallowing a wrong information and believing it to be true. So with these intriguing questions, he was able to create a disconnect in our mind, and we welcomed him in, and he started building his ideas and started saying stuff like, oh, the Bible is a literature, and just like every other literary book in the world, it contains figures of speech. So when the Bible says the tree of knowledge of good and evil, wasn't actually referring to a tree, it was referring to a body of knowledge that is both good and evil. Good in the sense that it will appeal to your flesh, but bad in the sense that it will lead to the fall of man. So this is the same thing you have to do as a speaker. Create a disconnect in the mind of your listeners by asking intriguing and provocative questions that will leave them curious and seeking for answers. And I'll tell you this for free. The minute you're able to create a disconnect in the mind of your listeners, they will feel the need to feel that knowledge.